When you deal with a narcissist, it can leave you feeling hurt, let down, disappointed, and betrayed. You deal with constant devaluing and abuse, and then you never get the apology or acknowledgement, or they don't admit to what they did, or they don't think they did anything wrong. So when this happens, you as a person that's dealing with this will question and ask if narcissists ever feel bad. Because as someone that has empathy and can self-reflect and has the ability to take accountability, you can't fathom how they don't feel bad. It doesn't make sense to you. So that's why today we're going to talk about why they don't feel bad. Before we talk about that, let's dive into why they hurt you. First is they do everything for supply. When they look for reactions from you, that fills their jar up of feeling better about themselves. The negative things they do are to soothe their insecurities and negative feelings they have on a regular basis. They're hurting and they want to hurt. When they seek negative supply, they tell themselves a story that they are justified for what they are doing. In their mind, you're abusing them and you're hurting them. Really, they're the ones doing the hurting, and they're projecting because deep down in their unconscious mind, they know what they're doing is wrong. They feel immense shame. That's why they hide it. But they don't have the ability to reflect. And they don't realize it's not you who's doing it, but it's them who's actually doing it. So then it gets buried inside, and it comes out with them targeting you and being mad at you. When in actuality, they're really mad at themselves. But they have an inability to be able to express that or realize that. So because of this, they don't have guilt. They don't think they did anything wrong. Guilt is where you feel bad for a behavior. If you don't think you're doing a bad behavior, then you don't feel guilty. They subconsciously know this behavior is shameful, meaning they would be seen as a bad person if someone on the outside world saw them doing this thing. But they don't think they are bad for doing it, since in their minds, they think you deserve it. They are justified. Since they don't feel guilt and they don't think it's wrong behavior, and since they feel justified, they will continue to do it. They get a high off of it. And what happens when you get a high off of negativity? It lasts for a really short amount of times, since negative energy keeps us low. So we need more of it to sustain more highs. There's always a search for a mini high from them. So it could be name calling, or saying something hurtful, or embarrassing you to others, or putting down your thoughts and ideas, or trying to control you, or even getting physical with you. Those all add to their negative supply and making them temporarily feel better about themselves. They are empty shells of people that live off of what they take from others, and that includes taking someone's self-esteem and identity. The more they make you feel low, the more they have temporary moments of feeling better about themselves, since deep down they feel really low about themselves. They need you and to take from you in order to thrive. Often is talked about in narcissism, where they have grandiose senses of self, but really it's a cover-up for how low they actually feel about themselves. Because someone that really feels good about themselves, they don't need to tell other people. They just show it with their actions, and they just genuinely feel it. Whereas someone who feels low has to try to convince other people that they feel good about themselves, or they like themselves. When you deal with a narcissist, you're dealing with a child stuck at the age they were abused at. So you're dealing with someone with low empathy, an ability to see outside themselves, and an inability to see how others feel. And you're dealing with someone that's entitled. Someone that feels justified in taking from others and feeling that they can take it anytime they want is the same way little children are when playing with one another. When they want a toy, they will just take it. Narcissists will take what they want, and that includes your joy. They feel entitled to you. And so if you don't learn boundaries or learn that other people are allowed to say no to you or even to respect other people, then you will stuck at that childlike age. And that's exactly what happens with the narcissist. With general people, when we do something wrong, in order to make things right, you have to admit there was a wrong and you did something wrong. And narcissists don't think they are wrong. Their ego protects them from that. It's much safer to not admit anything happened or to not take any accountability than it is to say, hey, I did this thing and I'm wrong and I'm sorry. It takes a big person to be able to admit that and do that, and someone that has healthy feelings about themselves and has a healthy self-esteem. And another thing, they can't take fault in what they did. It takes someone with a healthy ego and self-esteem to be able to acknowledge when they're in the wrong. Someone who can self-reflect is able to take accountability. Narcissists completely lack the ability to look at themselves and reflect on where they are in the wrong because their ego is so fragile. They are insecure and based purely on ego. The ego tries to protect. So if you're in a state of protection, you can't think of where you're in the wrong because you think you're being wronged. This all boils down to their childhood, where they were either neglected, enabled, or abused, and they didn't have a parent that lovingly pointed out when they were in the wrong. And they didn't have a parent that taught them how to take accountability and teach them how to correct their behavior. Instead, they were met with deep shame, and so then their ego took over and said, we're not going to admit any fault or being wrong because this doesn't feel good. Instead, I'll pretend I don't do anything wrong, and I'll pretend that everyone is actually out to get me and they're the ones who are doing it and they're making things up or they're the ones that are bad. So this is where instead they will flip it, they will ignore it, they will avoid responsibility and make it seem like you caused it. And then you, with the ability to admit fault and feels bad for causing any harm, will then question yourself and question if you were at fault and wonder if you're the reason why they're being like this. And then you go into a vulnerable state of not being firm in yourself and being firm in your own reality, then you will believe the things that they say. And then you will take fault for it. So then you get stuck in this limbo of constantly gaslighting yourself and just wondering, are you doing things wrong? Or, when you see that they're doing these wrong things, wondering if, do they feel bad or do they see what they're doing? And then you'll be in this limbo and it eventually gets to that discard point. And so if a narcissist discards you and just moves on or cheats on you, you may feel really sad because they look happy with this new person. They're posting on social media. You hear from your friends out there that they're really happy and it looks like they're fine and doing well while you are hurting and suffering. But in reality, the narcissist isn't really happy because they never truly have genuine happiness. They didn't do the work to heal themselves and learn from the mistake of their past. They just buried it deeper and are now using a new supply to fulfill their needs, a new shiny toy. While you are going through the emotions, educating yourself, learning from your mistakes, and healing yourself, you are less likely to experience something like this again, while they are stuck in that same negative feedback loop again and again. You are getting comfortable with being uncomfortable and being able to give yourself the space to genuinely heal, to form healthy relationships in the future, while they continue to have these abusive relationships and get and find a new victim and a new victim and a new victim. So although they make it look like, they are in this happy, loving relationship, it's all a facade because all they are is about image and trying to make it appear a certain way that it actually is not. So if you are someone who is wondering if they ever feel bad, just know that they don't have the space or the ability to feel bad for the things they do because they're very much stuck in that ego of trying to protect themselves and they need negativity to thrive. So you need to accept that you're never going to get acknowledgement from this person and they never feel bad. Even if they put this act on like they feel bad, it's because people who truly feel bad, they either don't do it again or they try not to do it again and they make amends somehow. A narcissist never really makes amends. So because you'll never get that accountability or acknowledgement, you need to focus on validating yourself and soothing yourself and self-parenting yourself through it and staying firm in who you are. So that way you don't get stuck in these trauma bonds or get stuck in giving these types of people empathy or thinking that they are able to take accountability like you are. They are energy vampires. They suck the life out of you and they just take, and you will never get anything from them that you truly need or what you deserve. So what do you guys think? Leave it all in the comments below. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share with someone that you think may need it. Until next time, thanks for watching. Bye, guys.